The alien fleet loomed menacingly in Earth's orbit, a dark presence that cast an ominous shadow over every continent. Their arrival was no surprise. Satellites had detected them weeks ago, moving with unwavering precision toward Earth. And now they were here. The Xener, an advanced and militaristic extraterrestrial race, had finally arrived. Their message was simple and terrifying: surrender your planet or face complete destruction. A chilling silence spread across the world. Cities fell quiet, nations held their breath, and humanity stood at the edge of oblivion. Beneath London, in a hastily assembled command center, the world's leaders gathered, the weight of the moment pressing down on them. Their faces were etched with fear, uncertainty, and a glimmer of defiance. Among them stood Jim Harrison, a retired British space commander, a man who had seen countless battles in the void of space. He had been called back into service for one reason: humanity needed someone who understood war beyond Earth's atmosphere. The air buzzed with tension. Discussions raged as each leader spoke, their voices laced with desperation. Strategies were thrown around, but no one had a definitive plan. The Xener's fleet was massive, technologically superior in ways humans couldn't even begin to comprehend. The debate continued until one voice cut through the noise. "Commander Harrison, we need your insight." The voice belonged to Prime Minister Elizabeth Carter. Her tone was steady, but behind it lurked barely concealed terror. Jim, a man of few words, nodded. His sharp, calculating eyes scanned the room, taking in the worried expressions of generals, scientists, and politicians. He exhaled slowly, his mind working through every possibility. "We cannot simply capitulate. We must fight, but to do so, we need a strategy, and we need it now." A heavy silence followed his words. They all knew it. If humanity surrendered, their fate would be worse than death, and if they fought unprepared, they wouldn't stand a chance. Jim stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "We need the best minds on this. Every top scientist, every strategist, every pilot. We don't just need an army, we need an answer. We need to outthink them." Within hours, a team had been assembled: Dr. Mei Lin, a world-renowned physicist; Colonel Jack Thompson, a seasoned military strategist; Captain Aisha Malik, an ace pilot, one of the best humanity had to offer, and others, engineers, tacticians, soldiers, all coming together for one cause: survival. Jim wasted no time. "Dr. Lin, analyze their technology. We need to find weaknesses." "Colonel Thompson, begin drafting defensive strategies. We need contingencies." "Captain Malik, start intensive pilot training. They need to be ready for anything." The room moved into action, gears set into motion. Despite the odds, despite the fear, they worked. They had to. Days passed. The team worked relentlessly, poring over every detail, every potential weakness. Sleep became a luxury no one could afford. Every moment mattered. Dr. Lin made a discovery. "Commander, we found something." Jim leaned over the glowing holographic schematics. "Their propulsion systems." Lin pointed at a critical section of the alien schematics. "They generate massive amounts of energy, but they have a fail-safe mechanism, one we might be able to exploit." Jim's eyes narrowed. "Jack, integrate this into our defensive plans." "On it," Thompson replied, already pulling up tactical simulations. Meanwhile, Captain Malik pushed pilots to their limits: flight exercises, combat maneuvers, zero-G training. She left nothing to chance. And just in time, because the Xener had started testing them. Scout ships entered Earth's atmosphere, probing defenses, scanning cities. Military forces engaged, and for the first time, humanity struck back. "Commander, enemy scouts approaching defensive line Alpha." "Hold the line," Jim ordered. "Give them nothing." The battle had begun. Earth's pilots, trained, ready, and determined, engaged the alien scouts in the skies. Energy blasts tore through the night. Explosions lit up the heavens. Captain Malik led her squadron fearlessly, dodging enemy fire, retaliating with pinpoint precision. The first Xener ships fell, but Jim knew this was only the beginning. The real battle was coming. That night, as the exhausted team gathered in the command center, a transmission arrived. A hologram flickered to life. A Xener warlord stood before them, his expression cold, calculating. His voice was like grinding metal. Humans, you have made a foolish choice. Your resistance is meaningless. This is your final warning. Surrender now or be eradicated. The room fell into heavy silence. All eyes turned to Jim. He did not flinch. He did not hesitate. He stepped forward, locking eyes with the alien commander's projection, and then he spoke. You think we'll break? You think we'll kneel? You don't understand humans at all. We fight for our homes, for our families, for our future. You expect surrender? What you'll get is war. The transmission cut out. The silence that followed was not of fear but of determination. Jim turned to his team. They underestimate us. They think we'll crumble. They don't realize what we are capable of. His voice carried through the room, strong and unwavering. We will remind them. We will fight, and we will win. The team nodded, steel in their eyes. Outside, in the darkened sky, the Xener war fleet began its final approach. Engines roared, energy shields hummed. Humanity's last stand was about to begin, and leading the charge was Commander James Harrison. The war for Earth had begun, and humanity would not go quietly. To stand any hope of survival, the command center buzzed with expectation. The team reviewed the newest intelligence, their eyes glued to the screens. Dr. Lin's research had determined a critical weak point in the Xener propulsion systems, and Colonel Jack Thompson had integrated this into their defensive plan. We're ready, Jim remarked, his voice steady. Jack, position the defensive units as intended. Aisha, your squadron needs to strike those weak spots with precision. Captain Malik, ever the picture of confidence, gave a sharp nod. Understood, Commander. We'll give them something to remember. The plan was set in motion. Earth's forces moved into position, each unit knowing the crucial role they played. In the defense, the Xener fleet began its advance, their ships gliding with an unnerving grace toward Earth's orbit. The initial wave of Xener fighters clashed with Earth's defensive units, and combat erupted with force. Jim coordinated the battle from the command center, his mind racing through plans and contingencies. The first engagements were brutal, with losses on both sides, but Earth's defenders held their ground, exploiting every weakness in the Xener technology that Dr. Lin had identified. Captain Malik led her squadron into the heart of the battle, her pilots executing maneuvers with precision. They targeted the Xener propulsion systems, aiming for the weak points. Blasts lit up the sky as Xener ships took direct hits, but the war was far from over. Commander, we need greater support on the Eastern Front. Colonel Thompson's voice crackled over the comms. The Xener are focusing their forces there. Divert Units 3 and 4 to the Eastern Front, Jim ordered. We can't allow them to break through. The battle raged on, each side pushing their limits. Jim's strategic thinking was put to the test as he balanced the need to defend against the Xener's relentless assault, while searching for an opportunity to turn the tide. Then, a fresh development caught everyone's attention. A massive Xener battleship, larger than anything they had encountered before, began moving toward Earth. Its sheer bulk and firepower threatened to overrun the entire defense grid. We need to take that ship down, Jim stated, urgency in his voice. Aisha, can your squadron handle it? Captain Malik's eyes sharpened with intent. We'll do what needs to be done, Commander. As Malik's squadron closed in on the battleship, the enormity of their task became clear. The ship's defenses were formidable, unleashing a relentless volley of firepower. But Malik and her pilots were undeterred. They weaved through the attack, targeting the key points in the propulsion system. Back in the command center, Jim monitored the operation, his heart pounding. The battle was reaching a critical juncture. He could see the exhaustion on his team's faces, but also their unwavering determination. Then, a breakthrough. One of Malik's pilots struck a crucial weak point, triggering a chain reaction. The battleship began to falter, its massive frame shaking as explosions rippled through it. We've got it. Malik's voice came through, triumphant yet strained. Pulling back now. The destruction of the warship sent shockwaves through the Xener fleet. For the first time, the invaders hesitated, their advance stalling. Jim seized the moment. All units, press the attack. Push them back. This is our chance. Earth's forces surged ahead, their renewed vigor propelling them forward. The tide of battle shifted, with Earth's defenders gaining ground as the Xener fleet began to retreat. The command center erupted in a mix of relief and cautious optimism. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but Jim knew the fight was far from over. The Xener would return, stronger and more determined. Fantastic work, everyone, Jim said, his voice carrying the weight of their hard-fought victory and the challenges ahead. We've bought ourselves some time. Let's use it wisely. Captain Malik and her squadron returned to cheers and applause. Jim met her gaze, a silent acknowledgement of her bravery and skill. They had faced the brink of destruction and emerged victorious, but the war for Earth was only beginning. As the crew regrouped, already preparing for the next battle, they knew one thing for certain: the Xener would not give up easily. Earth's defenders had to be ready for whatever came next. Their recent victory had barely settled when a new threat loomed on the horizon.